Hey guys, welcome back. It's Josh with the Financial Advisor Car Guy. This week we're going to talk about recession. Now, the Feds have not come out and said we are in a recession yet, but the general consensus across my industry and across investing in general, banking, everybody is kind of feeling that we're already in a recession to some extent. Now, what I think is going to happen is if the Feds do come out and say it, probably at the end of the first quarter, the market's going to drop a couple thousand points and it's going to feel like the end of the world for a lot of investors. But I think it's going to be short. I think it's going to be sweet. I think it's going to create a lot of opportunities so people that have cash in the bank can then move that money back into investments. And I think we're going to blink a few times and we're going to dip and come right out of it and hopefully stabilize. But in the meantime, inflation remains rampant. Our US dollar is about as strong as it's been in 30 plus years now. So things are looking promising at the same time as looking discouraging. But I want to relate all that back to the car industry. So if you're in the market for a vehicle today, you can go to a car lot that has a supply now, finally, right after a year and a half of no supply, huge demand. And you can probably find the car you want. Now, granted, there still might be certain models or certain specs that are harder to find, but you're not going to be stuck paying a huge markup anymore. I mean, really, these car lots, these auto manufacturers, they need to move cars. And so they're not charging the huge dealer markups that they once did. So you can actually find a brand new car at or very, very close to MSRP. I think back about a year and a half, and G-Wagons, Mercedes, the G63s, some of those AMGs, they were commanding $150,000 premium to their sticker price. Now that's ridiculous. I mean, for an extra 150 grand, you could go pay cash for whatever, just about anything else. Some of those, and people were paying it, which is shocking to me. I mean, that's ridiculous. But someone who had to have a new G-Wagon was happy to go write a check for $350,000 or $400,000 or whatever it costs to buy one of those deals with that markup. And today you don't have to do that. Today you can go into a Mercedes dealership and just buy one. Now, with that in mind, there's a lot of people with a ton of negative equity. And, they might have paid or financed that. If they financed a car that was $300,000 and that included the premium, and today you can go buy a brand new one for X amount less, plus depreciation and use and mileage and all those things. I mean, there could be people that owe $300,000 on a car that they couldn't get $150,000 for today. So that's a problem. And what's going to happen is those people either need to suck it up and just pay it for the rest of their lives or however long the loan's for, or give it back, right? I mean, and just be out. And I don't know what that looks like. I've never given a car back to a dealership. I've never foregone a loan. I've honored my debt and paid it. And so I don't know exactly what that looks like for people, but all that to say that doom and gloom of big dealer markups is hopefully a thing of the past. Generally, when we're in a rising inflationary period, costs of goods go up. If I go grocery shopping today, I'm going to pay probably 10% more than I did a year ago. If I go buy new shoes, I might pay 5% more than a year ago. If I go out to dinner, right, I might pay 5 to 10% more than what I paid a year ago. Now that's normal. That's very, very normal. But what ends up happening is it really creates an opportunity for people with cash, because the way this works is as soon as the Feds say recession, the market's going to dip a bunch. People with cash are going to dump that back into the market, and the market's going to stabilize and then hopefully climb again. And that's a good thing, right? So when you're borrowing money, you're going to pay a little bit higher rate today than you would have before when the Feds have been raising rates along the way. But inversely, if you go to put your money into a money market or a CD or something fixed, you can generally create a better form of income that's not volatile. And it's actually paying something meaningful right now, which is great. That's a good thing. So relating that all back to cars, what ends up happening is people shift their assets, right, away from the market when things get rocky, and they look to other types of assets. And I don't want to tell you that cars are always going to be the best investment, but what people have done, and I've seen this time and time again, is they'll go out and they'll buy a muscle car or something that has proven appreciation, or an exotic sports car that has proven appreciation over time. And right now it's kind of an interesting time to be doing that. And it's really twofold. First and foremost, we're living in the time of the end of potential internal combustion engine, V8s, V10s, V12s, that big raw power, and going to EVs. Now, I'm literally standing here next to my Mustang Mach-E. And this thing, if you hear it clicking, it's because my phone that I'm recording this on is my key to this vehicle. It's very modern, very futuristic, and all those things. But it doesn't have that big V8 or V10 or a turboed whatever. It doesn't have any of that stuff. And so what people are doing is realizing that the end of the big engine phase of life is coming to a close. So people with, Hellcats and, some of these other big V8s and V10s, they're hoarding them. They're buying them up, they're hoarding them, keeping low miles on them, and are banking on or betting on the chance that in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years into the future, they're going to have a payday, right? I mean, there's going to be someone somewhere who wants a loud V8 in their garage, and you won't be able to buy one new any longer, or a V10 supercar, V12 Lamborghini, something like that, right? Those cars are going away, and collectors are buying them and putting them in their vaults, right? And so that's a very safe place to park money in a lot of different ways if you can get in at a reasonable price. If you're paying over sticker, right, you can't do that for a brand new car. But if you're looking at a collectible vehicle, maybe something that's in somebody's collection, you see an old time collector pass away and the family has no interest and they're going to start selling. Those are the kind of opportunities you want to look for, because those are things that are actually valuable, that will appreciate in time, will not depreciate if you have to fire sale it or get out. Maybe you lose a little bit of money, but you enjoy it, right? I mean, that's the beauty of it, is you're buying an asset that you can enjoy. It's not money that's tied up in a portfolio somewhere that you can't get in and drive or really enjoy at all. I could have a terrible day at work and I can come home and I can just sit in my garage and look at these or fire them up, and you know what I mean? It turns my day around. It is awesome. But truth be told, driving my EV doesn't give me the same sensation. It doesn't give me the same thrill. There's no sound. It's dead silent. It's not as easy to get excited about. And so I would say that, moving into automotive, the realm of automotive collectability, is a really good alternative to the market, especially in times of recession, because again, it's all supply and demand. A new car might still have, that new car smell, which this old car is not going to have, but, there's just a different type of excitement and enjoyment. And, again, if we're looking for an alternative to a potential recession-ridden market, I got to tell you, I think something that you can get in and enjoy, that hopefully appreciates in value, that maybe is exclusive or rare, that people don't see at a normal everyday car show or grocery store or wherever you're driving it. There's a lot of opportunity there. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys today. It's been on my mind all week long. Again, as the feds are raising rates, they did it again this week. I know that someone who's going to go buy a car right now is going to be paying quite a bit of interest. Whereas, a couple of years ago, a year ago, when we bought this Mach-E, it's like 2% interest. It's ridiculously low. So I'd be smart to not pay this thing off, keep my money in the bank earning 4% in a money market, and I'm only paying 2% interest. So right now it's totally a win. In fact, money markets and CDs are paying more than my mortgage interest, which that does not happen often, okay? So we're living in unusual times, but again, if you've got money tied up in the stock market and you're concerned that the market's gonna go down if and when the feds say, hey, we're in a recession, you're just like everybody else. And truth is, you may look to finding an alternative asset. And so I wanted to share with you guys some ideas about that. Feel free to reach out. We can talk more in depth. I'm holding still. I'm not changing anything. I'm not buying any cars or selling any cars right now. Outside of that Eclipse a couple episodes ago, but beyond that, I'm not running out and buying any V12 Lamborghinis that are discontinued. I wish I could, but at the same time, you got to have the money to do it. And at this point, I'm not about to go take out a loan for a very expensive car and pay a very large amount of interest. This is really ideal for someone who's got cash in the bank or has other assets to sell. If I wanted to sell both of these, I could, and then, I could go buy a Lambo. I'm not going to do that. I like both of these very much. And so that's not something that's going to change in my life, but know that those are options. And frankly, they're not bad ones. So hang in there, just wait it out. Prices are still coming down some, especially on entry-level models. I mean, again, this R8, I don't have near as much wiggle room anymore from what I paid to what it got to be worth. There was a time where what I bought it for, within a month or 2 months, I probably could have sold it for $15,000, $18,000 more than I paid. That gap has closed. I still have quite a bit of equity in the car, but truth is, I mean, I could probably only sell it for $5,000 or $6,000, maybe $7,000 more than I paid. And I put a couple grand into it with the carbon fiber accents and things like that. So, I mean, I didn't buy it to flip it. I bought it to keep it. It's a car that I've always wanted. I don't intend to get rid of it anytime soon. But if the car market continues to be as crazy as it is, I might be smart to sell it, buy something different that has depleted in value, right? I mean, I think of like the Ferrari California or even, 458s, 488s are still a little too expensive. Really, 458s are too. But the F430, I mean, there's a number of different Ferraris that I would love to have sitting in that bay right there that are just too expensive right now. But if they continue to come down, I could fire sale this car and then maybe come up with the difference to buy it. So not saying that's going to happen, but just know that those are opportunities that are out there. And if you guys see one, do it. You know what I mean? Those are cars that are going to go up in value. Naturally aspirated V8s are becoming a thing of the past. Those, again, V10s, V12s, they're going away. So, just keep that in mind. And I think as time allows, people will eventually start buying those EV Ferraris and Lambos and hybrid things and whatnot. But they're never going to have the same, I don't know. They're just different. They're not going to be the same. So anyway, that's all I got. So anyhow, please reach out, subscribe, comment down below, like, share, but most importantly, remember, may every investment you make be a good one. Till next time.